the frustrating thing for me was, I think we got 14 points that we didn't really work massively hard for, and it probably it almost created all the rest of our problems for us in some ways. I mean, we were massively off game plan. We started throwing passes to isolated runners. We kind of started playing a kind of, I don't even know if it was a wide to wide game. It was almost like we felt that every time we had a piece of possession, we had some divine right to run in the next try. I think when we defended for a little while, it seemed like we felt we should just turn them over every breakdown, and we became penalty ridden. We just lost our way. We lost our way, and over the 80 minutes, I'm not going to sit here and say we deserved to win the game, because I don't know if we did really. I'm not massively worried about anything, because if there's one thing I know, there's no shame in losing to the promoted team into the Premiership. And I think I've seen other Premiership sides kind of lose to Exeter and all of a sudden think they need to have a crisis meeting, and they can't quite work out why everything's crumbling down around them, and the reality is it isn't. We've put in a couple of good performances in the last couple of weeks. We're not a massively different side after today. We've got to learn from the things we did wrong, as we do in any other game, and move on. I think today's probably a bit more about congratulating London Welsh than it is worrying about what we did wrong.
Did you recognise, Rob, a bit of that spirit from your own experience? Did you expect them to raise their game to that level?
Yeah, I mean, I've said plenty of times, and on the record that being involved with the Championship, you have to be a decent side to come through that playoff structure. You do. There's a reality to that, and I've also said plenty of times that the Premiership is a great place to learn. It's tough, but it's a great place to learn, and players get better and teams get better, and I think London Welsh are doing that. Am I disappointed not to win? Of course I am. We'd like to win every game of Premiership rugby. I'm probably more disappointed with the way we played and some of the mistakes we made. I'm probably a bit more disappointed that some senior players, or what I'd like to think are now becoming experienced players, gave away soft penalties or made poor decisions. Those are concerns, but you have to deal with the whys and wherefores, and keep a level head. We're not going to have a crisis meeting on Monday. We're not dragging the boys in for any extra training sessions. You win games in the Premiership and you lose games in the Premiership, and you just got to get on with it.
What was the extent of the injuries, Rob?
Craig Mitchell's arm injury looks relatively serious. Tom Johnson, we believe, is a rib injury, but how serious we won't know really a little bit further down the line. There were things that didn't go our way out there, and I'm not saying they didn't, but as I said, I'm not getting over worried with it. Sometimes you lose to teams on a day that they deserve to win, and as I say, I'm not going to sit here and say London Welsh didn't deserve to win, because I've seen Exeter win games in the last few minutes, and I'd like to think we've always deserved to win those. So, we weren't good enough today. We got a lot of things wrong, but credit to London Welsh, they got a lot of things right.
Does it help having Saracens down next week? But you've got to concentrate.
Well, it depends. Depends which way you look at it. I mean, probably. I mean, the reality is, things happen today that you'd like to think wouldn't happen in another game, and we've got to make sure don't happen in another game if we want to be competitive. But obviously, globally, we're 3 games into the season. We've collected 7 points. It's not the worst start in the world. It's not as good as we'd like it to be. But as I say, it's not the worst start in the world. We've collected points in each game. We've kind of always said that's very much our aim, to be competitive every week and make sure we're thereabouts in collecting points. Obviously, you like to collect them from wins, but if you can't collect them from wins, you've got to make sure you collect them somewhere. And we've got something from today. Like I say, I'd like one more try and we win the game and we get 5 points. That's how close things can be. But as I said, that wasn't to be today, and like I say, congratulations to London Welsh, and I've got no complaints about the result.
Was Ian Whitten always going to play? I mean, obviously a tough old event tonight.
No, he wasn't. We had a good talk about it last night, obviously, when he heard the news, and another chat this morning, and he decided he would very much like to play. And to be fair, I think Ian did very well. He set one of our tries. He had a strong game. I think he did exceptionally well in the circumstances.
The fact that Tom left on the stretcher, should we read anything into that?
Well, only that I think rib injuries are painful, and I think the biggest issue was probably that getting him up and getting him moving around and using his core muscles and stuff would have just caused him unnecessary pain. So it's probably more a pain issue, I would think, at this stage than anything else, for the reason for the stretcher. All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.